Hi everyone, it's New Jersey Garden. I hope everyone's doing well and having a good winter. Today is February 5th, 2023, and I am going to sow some seeds in my basement. And I'm also going to try the winter sowing method for the first time with some of these seeds. So I'll show you guys all that. I want to go through all the seeds I'm sowing today. And just for people who are new to my channel, I grow mostly flowers. I grow a few vegetables. Over the years, I've grown, I think 11 years now. I mostly grow perennials. I grow a few annuals every year, but then in 2018, I did sell some flowers at a farmer's market. And I enjoyed really, making the bouquets and selling them. But the market was not very well attended at all. So I didn't, make a whole lot of money with that. But last year I decided to grow some more cut flowers, and I sold them at I brought them to a local farm where there's a market, and they did really well for a few weeks. And I would love to continue providing this farmer's market with some flowers to see how I do. There's also 4 other farms near me. There's about 5 or 6 farms within 25 minutes of me. So if I do well with one farm, I could also, if I have enough flowers, I could sell at another farm. But this year, I'm just going to focus on this one farm, supplying enough bouquets. Last year, I only sold about 6 bouquets a week, and it was only in May and June. In July, it got too hot for the farmer. Didn't want to sell the flowers in July because she just was worried about wilting, and they were just sitting in the containers too long. And then I got really busy in August and September, so I ended up not selling. But this year I want to go through the whole season and try to supply her with flowers. So today I'm going to sow these seeds, and I did get seeds from, I think, 3 different seed companies this year. So Select Seeds is one of the companies I ordered seeds from. This is Rebecca Prairie Sun. I got Larkspur, the white Larkspur. Orlea White Lace, Buplarum Green Gold. The Feverfew that I really wanted was sold out, but I got this Feverfew Tetra White Wonder. Then I ordered some seeds from Gardener's Workshop. This is Soapwort. Then I ordered a Snapdragon TGW Pink. Then I ordered some seeds from Johnny's as well. I'm really excited to try Cerinth. I saw this in a YouTube video years ago. This Dutch farmer was growing Cerinth, and it just looked beautiful. So I'm really excited to try this Kiwi Blue Cerinth. I got some more Snapdragons. This is the Rocket Mix. Then I got some Amy, which I've grown before. It grows really well for me. And then this is some old Amy that I have some leftover seeds from Swallowtail Garden Seeds. And then the last one I'm sowing today is more Amy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decide, which of these I'm going to winter sow and which of these are going into the basement seed trays. I have a pretty simple setup in my basement, which I'll show you. The winter sowing method, I know it works really well for so many people, and I just don't know why I haven't tried it before. But I am going to try it today with a small portion of the seeds just to see if it works, and then if it works well, I'll do more of it next year. And the winter sowing method, for those of you who don't know, is when you put seeds in like plastic containers and you leave them outside during the winter, and you do that with typically do that with cold hardy annuals, plants that really enjoy the cold, do well with the cold weather. And then the seeds that I'm planting in the basement today are typically, most of these were cold hardy annuals. I wanted to get those started because I can plant them out earlier in the spring than my other flowers. I do have a lot of other seeds to plant that are summer blooming flowers, so I'll be planting those in early March. But today I'm planting my cold hardy annuals so I can get them out into the garden earlier. Hi guys, so I have my helper here today. My daughter, who's almost 8, is going to help me out today. Her name is Anne. And this is the basement setup. It's basically a bunch of Jiffy seed starting trays that I bought over the years. And I'm going to be filling them with some potting mix. I use this seedling mix called Black Gold, which has worked great in the past for me. I ordered it on Amazon, actually. I used to use Jiffy, but one year it was so dried out it wasn't even absorbing any water. So I switched to that. And then the way this works is these are fluorescent bulbs just hung with a light fixture, fluorescent light fixture. And there's S-hooks that attach the chain, and the chain goes up to the ceiling. We have these wooden beams up here, and it's just stapled to the wooden beams, and there's another S-hook at the top. So it's a pretty simple situation. I have to get one of the bulbs replaced because it went out over the winter or last fall. But I basically think I have 32 watts. There's a spot for two bulbs in each light fixture, so I think each bulb is 32 watts. So as you can see, it's brighter over here because I do have the two bulbs working for each of these two light fixtures over here. So what happens is when the seedlings start growing, you just adjust the hook and the chain and lower the lights so that they are closer to the plants, and then as the plants grow, you just raise the lights. And I do keep my plastic covers on until they've basically formed a couple of sets of true leaves. I keep them on probably longer than I should, but I just like to, you know, retain the moisture level, and I do keep them on, and then I end up taking them off and letting them grow. If you have your soil too, so I do dampen the soil. I'm going to show that. We're going to fill these trays with the seedling mix, and then moisten the soil before planting the seeds. If your soil is too damp, or if it gets too cold down here, I've had problems with damping off, which is when your seedlings just die off from the dampness. So I just try to make sure the moisture level is fine. If I see problems, sometimes I sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon on the seed tray, and then I take off the cover, like I said, when I've seen a few sets of leaves. So right now we're going to fill these trays, and then I'll show what they look like after they've all been watered. We're going to probably water from the top. You can water from the bottom or the top, but we're going to, I have my daughter here with me, so we're probably going to just water on the top of them. Make sure that every cell has some seedling mix. So we are sprinkling the seedling mix into the cells, pushing down the seedling mix to ensure that every cell has adequate mix in it. And then we're going to be watering this in so that we won't have to water after we put the seeds in. So what we're doing is we're sprinkling seedling mix into each cell, and then we're pushing down the mix to make sure that every cell has adequate seedling mix. And then we're gonna sprinkle again on top, a little more seedling mix, and then water this in before we put the seeds in. We're moving on to the next tray. We're gonna do all 4 trays, and then we'll do the watering. So now we're on our 4th and final tray, and I'm just gonna show you guys what we're planning on planting down here today. So in these seed trays, we're gonna plant the Kiwi Blue Cerinthe, both sets of Snapdragons, the Rudbeckia Prairie Sun, and the Feverfew. So you can water from the bottom, which I do sometimes, and then the water will soak up from the bottom, but today we're just watering from the top, trying to make sure every cell has a moist potting mix. We're not going to overwater, we're just going to put a little bit into each cell. So this tray was watered, now we're going to do the other trays. So we just did the Snapdragons, the rocket mix in this tray over here on the left. And now we're doing the Cerinthe. They need to be sown a 1/4 inch deep, so I'm using this wooden skewer to make a hole 1/4 inch deep, and my daughter is putting the seeds in, and they're nice big seeds, so they're nice and easy to see. The Snapdragon seeds are teeny tiny. I'll show you those in a minute, but the Cerinthe seeds are pretty big. So we're putting one in each cell. Okay, so I planted all the seeds with my daughter, and now I'm going to make labels for them. This first tray, the whole tray is the Rocket Mix Snapdragon. This next tray, the entire tray, is the Ceranth. This third tray is a mixture of Blue Plurum, Feverfew, and the Rudbeckia. The rest of the Blue Plurum and the Feverfew I'm going to plant in jugs outside with the winter sowing method. And then this last tray over here has a little bit of Rudbeckia. I used it all up. And then some Orlea and some soapwort. And again, some of the Orlea and the soapwort I'll be planting in jugs outside for the winter sowing method. So I'm just going to quickly label all of these so I can remember what's what. And I'm going to leave these seed trays on. There is no heat mat under any of these seedlings or seed trays because all of these are cold hardy annuals with the exception of the Rudbeckia, which is a perennial, and they all like and do well in cool weather. So they don't need the extra heat. And so my daughter's going to help me clean up because we made quite a mess. But she was a good helper today. Did you have fun? Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to use the winter sowing method to sow the larkspur. And when I get more of these water containers over the next couple weeks, I'll be doing some more winter sowing. I just drilled some holes in the bottom and I cut the container about 80% of the way so that it has like a lid. And I'm going to be removing the top and I'm going to be putting in some potting soil. I'm not going to use seed starting mix because I've read and seen that potting soil works better. So I'm just trying this basic potting soil. And hopefully the larkspur will germinate when it's ready. Larkspur likes, the seeds like the cold and they will germinate when it's cool out. But this method will allow sun to get in. I will be checking this every week or so just to make sure there's enough moisture. We have had a pretty dry couple of weeks, so if there's no snow or rain, I will be making sure to keep this moist. So I'm going to get started.
All of it?
So we're going to sprinkle a few larkspur seeds in here. Sprinkle them far apart from each other. They need some space. Just a few more. And we moistened the soil just now, or the potting mix. That's enough. Okay. And the next step is to put duct tape around the sides. And ideally you would want to label this with a waterproof pen, like a gardening marker. So I am going to try to get one of those before next week, before I plant more. But right now I know that I just planted the larkspur today in here. So I'm going to leave this on the deck and I'll watch it every week and make sure it's hydrated enough. And hopefully by early spring I'll be able to transplant these.
We need more duct tape right here.
Okay.
No, actually, no.
Press it all firmly all along the edge and on the sides.
It's a flimsy bottle.
It is a little flimsy, but
No,
we want to leave the cap off because if we want snow and rain to get in there, it's like a little mini greenhouse. So we leave the cap off.
Mini greenhouse.
And we just leave this on the deck.
Oh, yay, mini greenhouse.
Yep. So we can plant some more of our hardy annuals like this. So hopefully this goes well. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I will do a video coming up on some more seeds that I'll be planting, especially in March. I'll be planting a lot more of my summer annuals then.